This thing is so small, it makes this miniature postbox look like the full-size version. It makes this miniature Big Ben look like the full-size version. It makes the helmet on this little mini Robocop look like the full-size version. It makes the helmet on this look like the massive version. Actually, that is the full-size version. I think you get the idea by now. This WE CT25, based on the COLT 25, looks so small, it even makes the Glock 42 look like a Glock 19. This is the WE COLT 25. But, you know, it's not licensed by COLT, so let's call it the WE CT25. Let's get it open. And I must say, in terms of the packaging, 10 out of 10 for WE. They normally don't really put any effort in boxes, but this is such a neat package. Okay, so you've got your instruction manual. Let's have a quick look at that. Very nice, straight and to the point. All the instructions you need is right there. So what else is on here? Okay, your normal do's and don'ts. And your exploded parts list. But you're stuffed if you don't read Chinese. Now, would you look at this little thing? That's gorgeous. And again, 10 out of 10 for WE Tech for the presentation. I mean, the pistol might be absolute trash, but it looks so good presentation-wise. Very nice. Anyway, let me be fair. I'm not declaring it as trash just yet. Let me get it out. Let's check out the build quality and how it performs. Beautiful. So, first thing we're going to look at is the mag. Would you look at this little thing? And please, can we get all the "that's what she said" jokes out of the way? Thank you. Tiny little thing, full metal construction, apart from the lips, of course, and this part here. But yeah, very nicely built in terms of looks. And then at the bottom, you've got your your gas valve, which is almost as big as the entire base. Well, not quite. And then right there on the base, you've got your caliber, .25. Hence, COLT 25, which is what it's based on. And then right there at the top, you've got your magazine follower. Neat looking thing. Still can't get over how small this is. Let me make a quick comparison. Glock 42 mag. There you go. You can see it's physically a lot smaller than the Glock 42 mag, but to be fair, not by a million miles. So, let's get to the main attraction itself. Oh, there's something else. Hang on. Right there is your little insert so that you can do dry firing. Very nice. Because one of the features of this WE COLT 25 is that when you're out of rounds, it will no longer fire. Do you know what else makes me laugh about this? That's the standard size sticker you see on a lot of WE products, yeah? It looks colossal on this tiny little baby. Right, let's get it out. Loving the box, as I said before. And let's just get rid of that sticker straight away. And would you look at this? First, let me just complete that picture. Look at this. Literally fits in the palm of your hand. This literally has to be one of the most concealable airsoft sidearms ever. Wow. So, as I said, makes the Glock 42 look like the full-size thing or a hand cannon, or a bit more realistic, makes the Glock 42 look like a Glock 19. Now, beautiful grips right here. Now, these are plastic, but made to look like wood. But yeah, very nice. And of course you've got your WE badge right there. On the original you'd have your COLT markings right there, or COLT badge. You've got your mag release, and right here is what you would use to lock your slide back. However, it does have a dual purpose. So not only does it lock your slide back if you pull your slide back manually, let me just release the mag first. Right, so if you pull the slide back to this point, you can then push that lever up and that locks your slide into place. But take note, when you do that, and of course with the mag out, your hammer will go back and you cannot fire this thing for love nor money, no matter what, because there's no mag in it. Now, the other feature of this little lever is that it puts the pistol into safe mode. So if I rack the slide, then push this lever up, pull the trigger, nothing happens. Drop that safety lever, it fires. But of course, because there are no rounds in this, you can't continue to fire. This thing is so cute, so small, you can afford to bring this to every gameplay situation and surprise your gameplay enemies when they think you've got no more weapons or you're out of rounds. So let's continue to have a look at the design feature. So right there, you've got your hammer. And by the way, full metal construction, apart from your side panels on the grip. So yeah, there's your hammer. And look at your tiny little rear sight and your teeny tiny little front sight there. And then of course, you've got your serrations along the top. You've got your serrations right here at the back of the slide, which makes for easier slide racking. Now, although there's no rounds in here, safety first. So, continuing with the features, nice chrome silver effect on the trigger. You've even got your little beaver tail to prevent slide bite. And as tiny as this little thing is, it still has hop-up adjustment. And the way to show you that, I also have to show you how to take this little bad boy down. So the first thing you do is drop the mag. And notice my hand is not underneath the pistol because it goes that far, and then you can take it out. Now I love that. And just another quick reminder, to close the hammer or pull the trigger, you have to put the mag back in, and I did that off camera. Now to take it down, you pull the slide all the way back, lock it into place, and if you have the pistol in front of you like this, grab hold of the barrel, turn it 45 degrees towards you, and then you pull the barrel forward and then twist it back down again and out it pops. Now would you look at the size of that little tiny thing. That's what she... And then you can release your catch, but take care when doing so. You want to make sure you've got good control of the slide. So hand here, release the catch, and then your slide comes right off. And then right there, as you can see, is your spring and your guide rod. Oh, and by the way, this is what happens if you don't keep control of that slide. I suppose that's one way of having one more shot when you've got no more rounds. No, don't do that. Anyway, you'll get thrown off the gameplay site. But look, this is where you adjust your hop up. That tiny little screw on your outer barrel. And yes, there literally is an inner barrel. Look, can you see it just inside there? Now, I often do some of my research by looking at the real versions of these airsoft pistols. Now, when I say real versions, I'm talking about real versions on YouTube. So yeah, I often look at COLT 45, Such 00, Demolition Ranch, all sorts. And I almost forgot Forgotten Weapons. No pun intended. Apart from the obvious airsoft bits and pieces, this really does look very similar to the real outer barrel of the real COLT 25. Awesome. Even down to these grooves. Not an exact replica, but very close. Right, let's get it back together. So, your spring and your guide rod. Let's just get that in there first. There we go. Just want to make sure the spring is sitting in there also. Then we just get it back onto the slide, making sure your guide rod is in the correct position. Now when you do put it on, make sure that guide rod snaps back into place correctly, like that. So what you need to do at this point is, again, bring the slide all the way back, lock it into place, and then just reverse the process of putting the barrel back in. Nice. Right, let's get it ready for a little mini shooting test. Right, so I'm going to use green gas. Look at the size of that can compared to that little thing. It's so mini, which is why I'm going to use a mini green gas. Right, so, and I'm really not joking, look, mini, but let the truth be known, it doesn't matter what size the can is. Now, the mag capacity of this is, thank you. However, don't think, oh, that's rubbish. The real one is only, thank you. And because it takes so few rounds, you can literally just pull the follower down and load it up manually. Okay, so that's 6 in there. Let's just put one more in. Lovely. Right, so this literally is the backup sidearm for your sidearm that you really carry for backup purposes when you need to back up your primary. Now, because of that, don't expect amazing results. It's documented to only do about 200 FPS. 229, 223.7, 220.4, 216.3, 218.3, 216.6, 206.8. Now that's the last round, and I'm not going to cut the camera because I need to show you another feature. So let me just zoom out. Now, that's the last round, but notice the hammer has gone back. The slide hasn't locked back like I mentioned earlier, just like the real thing. Once the last round has been spent, the slide won't lock back, which is correct, but what it will do is bring the hammer back home and it will no longer fire. Watch. Hammer goes home and nothing more. Nice. Now, if I may, I just want to show you how the dry firing insert works. So you literally bring that follower down, slot this in here like that, release, and look, that's what you're looking for. And what that enables you to do is to, like I said, dry fire. So you pop it in, pull the slide back, and you can fire away at your heart's content. And there you go, it's out of gas. Now, that's pretty good really, because with the amount of times I've had to reload this mag with BBs on and off camera, this will be the first time I'm actually going to have to fill it up with gas again. So you're going to get a good 3 to 4 mags worth of BB shooting before you have to fill it up with gas again. Awesome. Now, normally I would use these targets for my accuracy test. Now, those of you who are familiar with archery will know that these are generally used for archery, and the paper is generally way more thicker than your normal airsoft targets, which is why I had these reprinted with a much lower GSM. Basically thinner paper, so the BBs can penetrate. So, this is too thick, and I reckon this little baby, when it fires at this target, it just will not burst through that paper. Which is why I'm going to be using a little mini target for a little mini sidearm. you know what? For something so small and concealable, something that you would use as a last resort during gameplay, that is pretty decent. Yes, initially it does look like the shots are all over the place, but do take into note how small this target is. Or take into consideration, if you like. Case in point, this is my hand over the target. So what are my initial thoughts about this little thing? Well, the fact that it is so concealable is amazing. I mean, just look at the size of it compared to a Glock 42. Now, everyone is of the opinion that the Glock 42 is tiny anyway, but look at it compared to this little thing. And just to show you the base, I've lined up the base properly. There we go. Tiny in comparison. Big pistol.
Little pistol.
Alright, let's get to it. So, what don't I like about this? Well, I'm struggling because it's a tiny little piece, and just like its real counterpart, it's not really meant to be your main piece, okay? So during gameplay, use this as a backup, a little surprise sidearm, because you're not going to get that sort of range you're going to get from bigger airsoft pistols or rifles, naturally not. So this really is suited for CQB. However, nothing to say you can't use this in all different types of scenarios during gameplay. Just make sure you're a bit closer to your target than you would normally be. So, I'm absolutely loving the build. It's a solid little piece. It is a WE Tech, so I am expecting the mag to start leaking and everything, but during this video, it didn't. It was fine. In fact, at one point, I put too much gas in there, and it only just leaked a little bit, just enough to release the excess amount of gas. And then it was fine. I put it right up to my ear and I heard no leaking. So yeah, so far, so good. 7 rounds, just like the real thing, so I'm not going to complain there. It doesn't lock back, just like the real thing, so I can't complain there. So for something that's going to be fun, something you can plink around with, and if you really must, take it to gameplay, and it really will be your last chance saloon. When all your other weapons have failed you or you're out of rounds, you've got that little bad boy in your pocket, down your socks, in your underwear. Well, maybe not down in your underwear, that is not advisable. If you like what you see, hit that video description where I have a list of different retailers that stock this little bad boy. And once again, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time with something epic. Something with the numbers 4 and 5 in the title and the letter T. I'll see you next time.